Welcome, pool fans and players viewing from around the world. This is the 23rd annual Derby City Classic here at Caesars, Southern Indiana. Behind me, we have 451 players playing banks. We're also going to have 9-ball. There's also 1 pocket, and we're playing 10-ball on this beautiful diamond 5x10 table. This is the Bigfoot 10-ball challenge. 16 of the greatest players in the world. It's single elimination action, and we are in round 1. Last match of the day. Let's get to it and meet the players. First up, he's a world 9-ball champion, U.S. Open 9-ball champion, currently ranked number 2 in the world. Sponsored by Predator, Gabriels, and Andy Cloth from Bad Honnef, Germany. Make some noise for the killer, Joshua Filler. And his opponent, 2018 European 9-ball champion, American straight pool champion, and Gotham City 9-ball champion. He's sponsored by Predator, Tom, and Ergbjörn Folja from Lublin, Poland. Make some noise for Andrzej Konrad JUSZCZYSZYN. We're lagging for the break. Our referee is Mr. Ricky Bryant, going to send it up to the guys in the Accu-Stats booth.
Welcome to all pool fanatics. We have some serious firepower coming your way next. But first, we are blessed with the newest U.S. Mosconi Cup captain here to provide the color. Congratulations, Jeremy Jones.
Oh, thank you. Thank you, Mark. It's gonna be one heck of a year, I think. Last 2 years have been incredible. You know as well as I do, you were a player, and it's definitely different being a captain more than playing.
Yeah.
Much different, but still a lot of the same types of things are involved besides having to knock the balls in. But so a lot of good moments, sometimes stressful moments, but good stuff. Just like here.
You and I have a lot in common as far as being a head coach of the Mosconi Cup team, but neither one of us have ever won a match that way.
Yeah, right.
I do like your chances better than mine, but
well, we'll see. Those 5 guys, I'd rather just leave it up to them, really. No matter who it is, I think. Yeah. Well, we have Filler, who was just recently ranked number 1 in the world, and now number 2 in the world, but many would say possibly at rotation the best player in the world right now.
Did not overhit him, squared him up, tried to make a ball in the break, and it looks like he's come up dry.
Yeah, and he's left a nice starter on the 1, but you'll notice, we got 2 lefties here. Not too often we see that, but he's going to have some stretch or have to use the bridge. But, what is the 7 on the side rail? Can he dodge the 7 and still get back down table for the 2 that lays below the 10 there, Mark? Maybe go 1 rail behind the 9, something like that. Or can he get to that side rail and come what would be maybe 3 rails towards the 2? Like this, that side rail there.
Yeah,
that's a nice shot.
Yeah. Comfortably played too. He made that look really automatic, and it wasn't.
Yeah, and I think that's because he stayed aggressive with it. He didn't really kind of guide it, kind of like a normal stroke, I guess you might say. Mm-hmm. Instead of there using the bridge, and a great shot to open our match. Fell a little flat here though, so he may have to play underneath. Or is he going to pound this in? Okay.
Tried to pound it in, but it hung up.
And he could have, I think, kind of crawled the cue ball underneath to play the 3 on the opposite side. I think he could have. Now, the problem is the 4 is way down on the top rail. So.
Right. Now, this is the 3-ball right here.
Mm-hmm. Right.
For our viewers at home, you can't see what I'm pointing out, but just so that we don't get confused here in the booth.
Yeah, and that's what Filler was looking at here. But I kind of like him trying to kind of bring the cue ball out where it's at now and then cut the 3 in and, kind of draw the cue ball. But yeah, kind of trying to, he caught it.
Just nicked it.
Yeah. He's got a decent safety, though, so probably lay the cue ball down behind the 10. Kind of feather the 3 up the rail a little bit. Use the 8 and 9 as well. And it's weird. That's almost always the tendency when you have to shoot that shot first in a match. Like your first time you shoot that type of shot, you almost always underhit it. It seems like I notice a lot of guys really afraid of it leaking out a little bit.
Jeffrey DeLuna, you have 3 minutes to table 15. Jeffrey DeLuna, 3 minutes to table 15.
Konrad JUSZCZYSZyn.
Yeah, one of the many great Polish players, right?
Yeah, kick safety. I don't know that he got it. Looks like Josh, he always runs up to the table, and even after the game's over, he runs back to his chair like the referee will have him racked instantly. He's like he's on some kind of a tempo or something. Always get a kick out of that.
Yeah, playing a nice drag shot there, and he played it with straight also, just straight low on the drag, which isn't something you do very often. A lot of times drag shot, you're usually using a little bit of outside to kill the cue ball. But there he couldn't afford to come back to the right a little bit, or else he got too thin on the four. So that was a nice touch.
Just 22 years old. Regarded as one of the straightest shooters in the game. Phenomenal talent, fun to watch. Very up-tempo player.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Josh played the 10-foot challenge last year. I didn't get to see him play if he did. I would have to assume he did play it, though. But I'm sure the 10-foot doesn't slow him down much.
Could be trouble. No? Able to escape.
He's going to have to shoot the 8 from probably a little more distance than he wants, unless he really wants to move the cue ball here like 3 rails. And that's what he's going to do. Looks perfect, Mark.
The one thing with Josh is that he doesn't baby the balls in. I mean, he goes through the ball when he hits it. Once he makes up his mind, and he is fairly quick about that, but he's very committed to whatever he made his mind up to. He doesn't shoot with ambiguity, is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, and really a similar thought is, you know, he tries to stay in position to where he makes a lot of the same strokes. So, when you're not varying your stroke very often, how accurate are you going to be? And even a shot like that, he doesn't ease it in. He would rather address the cue ball a little bit to where he can put a little more speed on the ball. And out here with a nice shot on the 10 to get our first rack. It's a race to 11 here. It's the final match of day 1. For you that don't know, it's a single elimination tournament between 16 of the world's best.
Our cohort, Jim Lynch, just retired from Moscone Cup broadcasting, but like he would say, Filler opens his account 1-0. You know Jim very well?
Oh, yeah, a long time.
Oh, yeah, he's a fantastic guy. Can you imagine he broadcast every single Moscone Cup since day 1?
I didn't know about the early years, but I've known for a long, long time. I guess 1999 was the first time I got involved with the Moscone as a player. And, been around Jim a lot.
Yeah, he was a pro snooker player. Moved into the commentary booth. Always did a credible job.
Well, here's Konrad to break the balls, and we had mentioned him being from Poland. I think Poland, much like Russia, you're going to see some players on that European Moscone Cup team before too long from both of those countries. It's just inevitable, I think. And Poland, arguably the strongest country in Europe for pool. Now many of the countries have one greater player or one higher ranked player than many of the Polish. But as far as a contingency from Europe that has a lot of strong players, hard to argue that's not Poland is the best. Maybe I'm not thinking of a particular country. I'm not sure, but
Germany should be up there, I would think.
Yeah,
right?
I mean, you got Ralph, and you got, of course, Filler in our screen here, and
Ingert.
and some others. Ingert doesn't play much anymore, but
About
just some current guys is what I mean that are out.
Holman.
Holman, of course, who's kind of made a resurgence in his game. I think really committed to getting better.
Well, the distance took a little toll there. His filler did not hit that good. His tempo was off just a bit.
And this looks pretty natural to go by the 10 and play the 2 on the side. Maybe in between the 9 and 10, just depends. Now, is this angle kind of falling away a little bit here, Mark?
Yeah, looks like he's going into the 9.
So he's got to maybe draw around.
Right.
Uh-oh. Okay, nice. But this is where the 10-footer, I mean, maybe not necessarily on this 5 ball, but if the 5 was a few more inches closer to the rail where the cut in the side isn't, for these guys, kind of routine. Those types of shots on the 10-footer, I think, is the, really become missable in comparison to the 9-footer a bit more. That extra distance makes a difference on these types of side pocket shots.
Yeah, we were just commenting on the mid-range shots are, a good 20% more difficult, which the mid-range shots are, not super challenging on 9-footer, but you better be a little respectful here, mid-range.
Sure.
Naturally, long range, you recognize it's tougher, but you might be inclined to say, well, I'm on angle, just a little bit further apart, and lighten up a little bit, and this table will definitely catch you.
Well, when I help people with their pool game, on the mental side of things, there has to be some easy, kind of feeler shots in the rack, meaning 2 or 3 or 4 routine. If every shot's like
pulling teeth.
Yeah, well, then you're doing something wrong, right? Well, on a 10-footer, there's just a few less of those filler shots, I think, things that are you kind of feel like a throw-ins. Just, for instance, like something like this. Just a little bit more precise is needed. He's going to get stretched again here.
The other thing that happens is these guys don't really get to play on a 10-footer. When would they ever have the opportunity?
Yeah.
Well,
I'll tell you what, when they come across one, I bet you they jump on it.
Yeah.
I find that every time around the guys, and like the Moscone the last couple of years, anytime we were around any type of bigger table, it seemed like they jumped on it. Okay, it looks like he's kind of drawing kind of on top. All right, so he cheated the pocket nicely there to get it over on the side of the 9.
Good speed.
But just for instance, like that 10 on the side, if you don't get full straight in, that can be a little bit of a tricky shot, a missable shot. So just, these guys, that's why they're some of the best in the world, because they're not going to overlook and take things for granted.
1-1 is our score now. Quality run out there. Speaking of the 10-footer, I always allude to this, that the 9-foot table is 40.5 square feet. The 10-footer is 50 square feet. So you'd say, 10%, 25% bigger. But it's the hardest 25%. So it's probably more like a third more difficult.
Right.
Because, and Danny was here, and he says, well, really the 10-footer is easier because you don't get the clutter. And I said, Danny, I have a table in my house that's a 10-footer. I'm telling you, it is not easier. I don't care what you say.
No, there's I think for sure it's not easier.
Yeah, for sure.
I think if you're...
Otherwise, a 12-footer, hell, you'd never miss.
Right. It's kind of like 10-ball used to be, back before the guys got so tuned in on the 10-ball break. We used to talk about 10-ball being probably 30% harder than 9-ball, and it's only adding 1 ball more.
Right.
So it's just a matter of, there's a certain breaking point, I guess, and once you get to that 10 feet on a pool table, you better be in stroke.
Yeah. That was the standard till the late 50s. So Moscone, Greenleaf, Crane, Lasser, all grew up on 10-footers.
Yeah, Karras had the high run in a tournament at, I think, 264, 265, and 5-foot 10-foot tournament play.
Just unbelievable.
Yeah, the shortest man in the building had the highest run on the 10-footer. Okay, so that was a big miss there, and I'm wondering if he was even going for that or if he was trying to let the cue ball run.
Something happened there because it didn't even threaten the pocket. And
and it was, it was kind of like just rolled at too, right? There wasn't much aggression in the stroke, trying to do anything at all.
Filler, he pinballed his way down to the 2-ball here.
Yeah, pretty much perfect too.
Yeah.
Besides a little bit of a stretch being a lefty, he's in a good position.
Right. This plays so much easier for a right-hander on a 10-footer than a lefty.
Yeah, now he's going to have to move the cue ball a bit for the 3. Okay.
Beautiful hit.
He may land on top of this. We'll see. Okay, great shot. Watch outside pocket. Look at this ball roll.
And then when you get off angle like this, then the shot plays extra difficult because you know it could have turned out so much better so many different ways.
Yeah.
Psychologically, it's bothersome because you hit a pretty good ball to end up getting in an awkward spot. Good recovery.
Yeah, but okay, he's all right. He's got a shot on the 4, which is near the spot. Natural path, a couple rails behind the 9 for the 5. And I think for Filler, you know, he plays really. Oh, he's going to draw this ball, huh? That's surprising to me. I thought there was a lot of trouble there drawing that ball, especially with the 8 and the 9 there. I thought he would run the cue ball there, Mark, but.
You know, you've oftentimes in the past when we broadcast together said, just let your talent work. And his deal is flow, feel. He does what feels right. Well, it might not be technically right, but he makes it work because he's comfortable playing that way. So banging into a couple things does not bother him. And his talent is making balls that are tough. So when he falls out of line, it's not disruptive to him. He just shoots and goes on.
Yeah, and he's still got some youth in him as far as that. But I'll tell you, for a young guy, though, he's pretty darn good with his pattern play, I think. Sometimes everybody, you know, we all get a little bit out of line or we lose a little focus with the cue ball.
Yeah.
But what I was getting at a minute ago is as good as he is, okay, here again, not quite tuned into the cue ball on the table, and this is his first match, but I think Josh would like to have some tough layouts for both players, you know, and want it to be some talent involved in the matches, not just you know, perfect cue ball every time, perfect shots, easy run outs. So.
No, sometimes it's almost like he needs to bang in the balls, get a little out of line, shoot his way out to get his rhythm. Like it's like a fighter getting hit a couple times. It kind of wakes him up.
Yeah, and also it kind of can have a little mental play on his opponent, meaning after a little bit you know, you kind of get on the edge of your chair when your opponent's at the table and they start to get out of line a little bit, like, hey, all right, I'm starting to feel like I'm gonna get a shot. But when Josh continually doesn't let you have that shot, well, it can get kind of old quickly. And that's another thing, the youth in him, he walks off smiling about being a little out of line here, a little out of line there.
Right. Well, he seems to have a great attitude. At first, I thought he was exceptionally cocky. But then after talking to him and now seeing that he's kind of smoothed out after a couple of years, he's confident. And he's happy-go-lucky, and some people might interpret that as cockiness. But if you can back it up, I mean, how can you complain about his results?
Well, you know, just like the Mosconi, people thought it was a little excessive. And, of course, I was on the other side of it. And at times, being in the moment, I thought it was a little excessive too. But that's just Josh. And I think one thing that really helped him is, you know, I wouldn't say it was a bad year by any means, but he can't really hit the scene hard. And then he had kind of that sophomore slow down kind of thing, and probably humbled him up just enough to put him back on track. And you've seen what he's done the last couple years. So
there, JUSZCZYSZYN got a real nasty, ugly kiss on the middle of the back rail. Check this out.
Yeah, it's amazing too. Just cut it down the top rail. I think he got 2 kisses here. 1, 2, 3. Okay.
Just hideous. Wasn't grotesquely mishit, but just misfortune.
Yeah, and so Joshua, the 1 to the 2 isn't really, you know, he's got a lot of options there, but what option really leads him to the 3 simply? And that's what he's looking at now. And he'll probably shoot the 3 maybe from some distance over near the left side rail, maybe the left side pocket, something like that here in a moment. That would leave him a nice, pretty easy shot and easy to get back across the table. So he needs to stay off the rail here. So he's going to draw the ball, yeah. That's the right shot in my mind. Here, draw by the 8, stay above the 2, and then you just kind of come back down that same side of the table to get on that 3. I would have set this up with a hair more angle, I think.
You know, one of the things that can get for younger players is they have ball in hand, so they want to run the whole table. And then they end up not getting 2 balls, you know, because they're thinking about running the whole table.
Right.
So kind of the key is get back in the moment. You're looking for 3 balls here from ball in hand. And I'm giving you the first one because you have ball in hand. So getting the angle on this one kind of leads you to the third one. Then if you have to scramble around, but for sure get 3.
Well, he needs to stay off the rail, and I don't know if he's going to gather the angle. He may have to go forward here and flirt a little bit, getting near the 8 with the cue ball, something like that, because he needs angle on the 3 to get to the 4. The 4's across on the same side of the table, but on the opposite side rail. That's what I'd like to get. I think he can be aggressive here going forward.
This will be a pretty position play.
Yeah, just float it past the 8. He needs a lot on it there. Okay, that should be perfect.
Good job.
Yeah, and it's got to be. And this is touchy too.
Yeah, I think you should go below the 4.
Yeah,
and try to attack it up above. 3 cushions.
Yeah, and that's another thing too. You want to become great. Realize what's correct, even though it seems more difficult, kind of like the pocketing the ball. You could get a little out of line, but it's actually the correct shot. Mm-hmm. That's what makes you a better player.
That's maturity.
Yeah, accepting it. So
rather than forcing it. Pool's tough enough already, and then when you try to force it, it will catch you. It's like sometimes maybe you got to lay up before the lake in golf. You know,
sure.
As much as you know, if you catch it square and sweet, you can get over it. But any kind of a problem.
And I think that goes, I think about, I still compete some. And of course, if you're going to compete, you want to play as well as you can and have the best chance to win. And I've gotten to where when I go to these bigger tournaments, and really any tournament's the best way, but especially the bigger ones with the better players, I tell myself I can't steer the ball. I got to just, if I miss one, I miss. Easy one, I miss, whatever. But I have to be kind of free. And, almost like the good old days, kind of like, I guess you might say.
Yeah.
So I think you can remind yourself of that as well, Okay, a little funny here, right? He's got to kind of pinch it back fully or bounce out for the 8 in the corner.
Yeah, it's right in between those two.
Yeah.
Nothing's easy, although he didn't make it look pretty smooth. So.
Well, the one good thing is, it's like you get more with less with the cue ball. But again, he knows his own talent. Why take a risk at trying to make a funny stroke on that drawn back? And people really look for the side on the 9-footers, let alone now the 10-footers make a lot of mistakes trying to move the cue ball.
Yeah, a real unfortunate scratch onto the break for JUSZCZYSZYN, and Filler cashes it in for a quick game here. 3-1's our score.
And Filler extends the lead now, 3-1, and they'll have the break.
And Josh, I'm sure he's played everyone has the first round of banks, and Konrad as well. Not sure what their results are. Round 2 just got started a little while ago. I think 450 plus players in the bank pool.
Well, I'll just tell you.
Oh, okay. I figured you knew.
451.
Okay. Well, that was
I
pretty
don't
close.
always know, but I do know this time. All right. As long as you're here, will you sign this? This is for a charity thing.
Yeah,
so.
absolutely.
Thank you. Double J. We got a great viewer, Chris Castell, and she buys all the streams, and she's so sweet. And she's got a charity thing. I said I would try to get her some great player autographs. Well, so there you go, Chris. Got Jeremy Jones right there.
All right. Josh to break off now in game number 5, and just kind of, I got the feeling of maybe Josh a little bit. Nice kiss now. So a bad kiss for Konrad, nice kiss for Josh. But I kind of got the feeling, at first that, all right, Josh wasn't so settled, but it's weird. After just a couple games, I feel like he's just fine now.
And then now he gets kissed out of the scratch.
Yeah.
The 1 ball trickles in. Look where the 2's at. This is a pretty handy run out possibility here.
Yeah, the 3 just lays just to the right of the 7 and 9 for the upper right-hand corner, so he can hold there. The 4's very open, just a little bit near the 10, near the spot. So Josh paying attention. He doesn't want to go near those balls to try and gain position, so he got a good little angle on the 3, kind of straight, but good enough. And this is where it's a little harder on the 10-footer too. When you're in between pounding to that rail, the one good thing is you can learn from Josh is he does it with a little rotation, a little more smooth. That way the cue ball run out for him a little bit, which I think is a premium way to shoot most of those shots.
Well played. Filters the cue ball back there for a real routine 5-ball into the side.
And that's kind of how today's game is designed, is to really trust the cue ball rolling into position more. The equipment we play on with the great Simonis and awesome pool balls and stuff, it's kind of easy to move the cue ball if you look at it that way rather than kind of forcing it around the table.
You know, the other day we were describing pros using side spin English on shots. And one of the points I made that I, recently considered and played a long time and didn't know really is that the bulk of the time that they use side spin, it's not to create the angle, but rather to control the speed. And I'm saying,
absolutely.
It's an odd thing because sometimes you'll hit a soft drag, but then you can get the cue ball to go 3 inches back with side, where if you have to use draw, you have to hit it twice as hard.
Well, I relate it to this when I teach, like golfers, right? Well, if you can, instead of pushing that 8-iron, you're better off to pull out a stock 7-iron and make your good stock swing. Well, and pool, what we do, I find the better players anyways, and the guys, and not even the champions, but just the better players, they make a lot of the same motions and just grip the cue ball differently with the tip, meaning side spin low, a little bit of low side spin to speed it up or slow it down. And you're better off doing that and playing that way and not being afraid of side spin. That way you're making a lot of the same motions.
Yeah.
You're not trying to command, a range of motion that's so big. It's very hard, real soft, real hard, and everything in between. You really just kind of make a lot of those medium strokes, and you just kind of grip the cue ball differently. And Josh, again, out to a nice start here now. I think it's 4-1, I thought. I'm pretty sure it is. Maybe not. Maybe.
Oh, it's 4-1.
Yeah, it is 4-1, yeah. So anyways, that's the philosophy I teach is, of course you can't always do that. You have to have the soft because the table will tell you so sometimes. But I find a lot of them, they don't vary the swing speed as much whenever the option is there. They'd rather vary the tip position. Yeah. So.
All right. Well,
if that's kind of what you're talking about.
It is, for sure. Here's JUSZCZYSZYN.
And I think, a lot of players like yourself, you feel like maybe that's something you just learned, but you didn't. You've done it forever. It's just,
to articulate, say, no, I'm not really using side spin to create the angle because I could do it with draw, but I want to control the speed easier, And so,
it's a comfort thing, too. You know, it's that control. Like, a lot of times you see great players rarely use straight low, right? That little bit of half a tip gives them that control feeling of when the balls are colliding, that they're in control of what's going on.
Right.
Kind of like a pro golfer, they rarely hit a straight golf ball. They always want a 1 or 2 yard draw or fade. That way they feel what's going on. So now we're seeing a lot of Josh Filler at this table early.
Well, what's happened here is that JUSZCZYSZYN was victimized by that ugly scratch on the break. Filler captured that game, broke and ran out. Now Konrad breaks dry, and here's Filler right back. So all the momentum, and this is the exact start that JUSZCZYSZYN did not need.
No, he's funny here. I don't know if he can bank it cross corner and really get the cue ball table. So he may have to cut this and then take a 4 or 5 combination from some distance, maybe.
Sometimes if you can find a safety here, rather than be super aggressive with this, because there's so much going against you.
And that may be the case. Kind of feel like he's going to shoot at it, and he's going to hit it perfect right here and come across.
Look at this shot. Okay, check that. I should play safe. He should shoot.
But everything's so good. He didn't get on the rail, just everything, I mean, of course, short was dead, but, I mean, a lot of people overhit, and they fall on the rail with the cue ball, making the shot a lot harder. Now he's just got to kind of control the cue ball because the 8's a big ball here as far as getting snookered. 8's a big ball, and he hit it perfect again, Mark.
Man.
Just smart pool, though. That's just, you get to let your stroke out a little more, so the combination becomes a lot more makeable. And I tell you, I haven't haven't seen Josh play, of course, since December. But he seems like he's even smoother, you know, and maybe that's a little adjustment to the table. From what I've watched today, the table's pretty fast here in day one, which I think it needs to be with the 10-footer. You know, it can't be a slow table, that's for sure. Boy, and I'll tell you what, when you don't mind that extra distance, how much does the game become? How much easier does the game become, Mark?
It's way easier to stay on line or on angle. That's the benefit of that, as long as you got the firepower to connect.
Yeah.
Jeremy, he's 22 years old. Do you remember when you were 22? I mean,
honestly, not really, but no, I'm just kidding. I do.
I got to tell you, when I was 22, I was playing pretty good and just felt so good every day. It just felt like the conquer the world here.
Yeah, hitting balls certainly wasn't work, was it?
Oh, no.
22. All right, he's gotten, besides being froze on the rail here, that's about the only thing that could be worse. This is a really bad angle here. May have to take some type of extreme cut shot on the 9. I'll tell you, I know it sounds crazy here, but just the way the ball lays, I think he's really forcing the issue to get to the backside of this as well. I might lay up for the cross side bank. That sounds crazy, but this is just funny. If he tries to punch 2 rails, he really takes a chance of scratching. Mm-hmm. You know, if he forces through that in rail, and because he's got to put a lot of speed on it to wrap the corner and get back for the 9.
The one thing in all I've watched is the conservative play is never Josh Filler. I'm not disagreeing with what you're saying. I'm just saying that's not really in his arsenal is the conservative play.
Right.
But here it is.
That's it. That's as conservative as you're going to see, and that's how bad the situation was, right?
Yep. Now, I got to tell you that's a new wrinkle there that he does not have in his arsenal last year even. That he might try a safety with an open ball. He's so used to pocketing.
So what do you do here? You get an opening finally after really not doing a whole lot wrong.
I think he's topspin banking, yeah.
Yeah, he's going to get good speed here, though, and maybe get a snooker. No, he made it, but he didn't call it. They're definitely playing call shot.
They're not playing. No, they're not. There's no call shot.
There's no call shot?
No call shot.
Oh, I love that. I love those rules.
Yeah, me too. Me and Danny, we like it like that. Yeah, just play wide open. And it's just like our 9 ball. You know,
that's how it should be, in my opinion. I mean, one foul's just too penalizing for a guy to be able to knock a ball away, I think, and you have to kick 3 rails to and call it. So.
Then it also
2 ways.
Yeah, exactly.
And for the most part, the guys don't luck balls in. That's not how they get lucky at this.
No.
It's by missing and snookering you is how.
There you go. I just said it earlier why we shouldn't even have a push out after the break. It's not where the luck is. We used to think that. People accept it. That's not the case. It's when the good player shoots, misses, and hooks you. That's where the 90% of the luck is.
And that's probably, you know, I'm pretty much a big, and this is that kind of extreme 9-ball shot I thought he might have if he did play the 8 earlier. But bread and butter, center ball, punched back and forth. Okay, he overcut it.
Oh, good.
He's getting rolls, though.
That makes me feel better about my game. I'm so glad to see him miss one of those. Just one of those. Nothing against him,
but I think that is, you know, I'm big on not changing rules and what I think are good games already. Just like 10-ball got changed to call shot, I didn't like that. But the one rule I do think is okay is that no push out, and push out kind of favors my style. But
me too.
But at the same time, I think that's a good thing to change. I think just go right to you have to shoot right after the break.
Yeah, he missed it on the way in.
And he's gotten a kiss on the cue ball. So.
Okay. Things are getting away.
Yeah, when he gets his opportunity, and not saying he's done anything wrong, really, I think Konrad should probably take a timeout, kind of rethink things, and make himself realize, hey, it hasn't been me so far. It's been Josh running out and
it's a bad roll.
Me not getting shots.
Right. I mean, he tried a super tough shot there, just slightly missed it, and got in behind it, got kissed into the scratch.
Yeah.
Just things that, you don't want this. At 5-1, you're still in it, but if it goes 7-1, now it's brutal. So it's not a bad spot. If I was his captain, I would have him take a timeout here too.
Yeah, and that's what they're there for, is to find, you know, there's 3 or 4 or 5 different reasons why you take that timeout, and when that first one comes up at 5-1 and things not going your way, I mean that's time to use it, I think, right?
Yep.
Even more importantly than a bathroom break.
Right. Yeah, well,
you can knock out 2 birds with 1 stone, I guess.
Let's face it, most timeouts are not for bathroom breaks.
Right.
They're more strategic to kind of get your brain right and say, hey, we're going to start this match over, even though the score's 5-1.
Yep.
We're starting the match from right on here.
Okay, he's changing sides. Come across him again, though, so that's alarming. Another nice kiss, because I'm not sure. I think the cue ball was coming pretty close.
Yeah, I agree.
Now he's going to be in a rollout position here. And the 3's down there near the 2, so very hard to roll out and challenge, thinking to yourself, you know, all right, he can make the 2, but he can't get shape on the 3. So that's kind of out.
Yeah, this is that tricky spot. It's not easy to tie anything up here either. Usually you kind of look for maybe that as an option.
Yeah, he's got to roll out to a kick. Try to maybe do that right there, put a ball across. Maybe they get a little funny.
Yeah.
Did he roll out to the cross corner here, possibly?
May have. Looks like, yeah.
If he did, I don't think you're going to see Konrad pass it up. I think Konrad at 5-1, Josh's break here this game, I think he's supposed to shoot at this probably.
Yeah, I think no matter what the score is, I think you're supposed to shoot
absolutely,
at it.
yeah.
I think it's just the right shot.
I think you're right.
Oh, good for him.
Nice shot.
He needed to score that.
And uh-oh. No.
Not a hideous roll.
Okay, real close to one, though.
Yeah.
So the 4 is near the cue ball there. So he's got to pay attention to this shot, really, because I think the 5's on the other rail, which it is. So if he could fall on a funny angle on this 4, he's got to get down there. This is where I like going towards it and getting nice and heavy. So now he's got to draw the cue ball a little elevated, so a little flat. I mean, he's got enough angle, but he's got to be satisfied with not getting too close to the 5,
Yeah.
I think. Oh, he got a lot out of it. Nice shot.
A very pleasant guy, too. I don't know if you ever talked to him or
Oh,
anything.
yeah, a few times.
Real decent kind of guy. Are you too young to remember playing 2-shot rollout every shot?
Yeah, I played it one time in an action match just because that was the game, you know.
Yeah.
I'll play a 2-shot, you know. Okay,
Right,
I'll play it. Come on, teach me how to play it, and I'll play it.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was a little bit before my time. I started playing in 1988. 17 years old. So I would have liked to have seen it with the great players. I'll tell you that, just to see how they played it. Of course, I know they ran racks just like they do in the 1 foul, but
Well, no, actually, you saw much better runouts. Much more. You could try a tough shot because if you don't get the position, you're not. You can still push out.
right. And
So you
that's
saw way more beautiful and more prolonged. You'd see more 4 and 5 rack runs than
Right.
you would today. Today, it's foolish because you're taking so much risk of hooking yourself.
right. Well, that's what I meant about the 1 foul, how punishing and
Yeah.
you know it can be, and
But it also could be very defensive, and sometimes a rack and 9 ball will last 30 minutes because push out, then you push out, then I mean, go back and forth. You play safe, now I push out.
sure.
But it
And
was
you know,
much better game.
well, and that's
It's not fan friendly though.
right. And that's part of it. You know, there's pros and cons. People say,
Right.
well, you had to make great shots because of the rollout, but also you could wing at them because if you got hooked, you could roll out. so
Louis Roberts was tough because he practiced all hard shots he'd
Right.
push out to, and he'd make so many of them, and then the backdoor safety when he'd miss, and he'd tip the scales his way. And you'd say, well, you can't make it. But he's going for it because he has to, and then he'd make some, and then he'd do like what Filler does. I mean, he ran 3 racks from nowhere, you know, and then bang, and he'd get his momentum going. And man, it was brutal. And then now pretty soon you're playing shots that are not in your realm to try to stifle him, and then he'd have you all out of whack. It was a fun time in pool. I did enjoy that, but I still don't think it's the best game for fans. If you want to build the sport, I think it's 1 foul, ball in hand, no push out after the break, 9 ball wins on the break, and none of this 3-point rule nonsense. Just play on.
all right, here we go at 5-2. Okay. Lacked a little power there, it looked like to me. Mark just didn't quite get the snap into the rack.
I think it almost is like he was a defensive break.
Exactly, like don't scratch.
Exactly.
Like, yeah,
Well,
he didn't let it go so much, and we know Konrad can hit him. I mean,
I think the issue is that he's trying to stifle Filler rather than play his game.
Well, he's had a couple unlucky kisses as well, so. Okay, and that's where Josh is also so good, just instinctively hitting those lines with the cue ball. Because, I mean, you can measure that, but it's still the stroke that really controls the hit of the ball and everything. It's really a lot of instinct still and recognizing what's going to happen. Did he get back enough there? It's real close. This is close here, I think. I think he's got a shot, but is he going to sacrifice distance again here, Mark, and just kind of lay up between the 9 and 5 on the side rail for the 4, like where he's standing there?
Well, I think that's why he looked.
Yeah, just where on that 3rd rail gets me that quick position. And the good thing about this is he can hit it. Oh, he came 1 across. Okay. Nice shot. So he may get a little thin on this 5 ball, trying to wrap the cue ball around like this. But that's okay if he stays off the rail. And he did. And that's probably what I've learned more than anything, watching so much of this pool rather than playing, is how much of a reminder that staying off the rail with the cue ball, especially for these guys, how much they can recover and manage from as long as they're off the rail. I mean, of course, some positions are no good, even if you are straight in and off the rail or whatever, but for the most part, these guys stay off the rail. It's pretty much they're going to get out.
They can do so much with the cue ball, shot making wise, if they can get to the bottom of the ball a lot of times.
Yeah, and even lesser level players, of course, not as devastating as these guys, but how much their level goes up when they stay off the rail with the cue ball as well.
You can see Josh grimace just a little bit, so that means he got that flat angle that wants to lend the cue ball to lay on the cushion.
Yeah.
So you have to fight it a little bit.
So he may soft pinch this back or slam it to the rail, kind of whichever one he wants. Okay, he just took the shot. Playing for the 9 in the side after making this 8. But that's another one right there as far as, you can handle angle right here. You stay off the rail, you pull it to the rail or whatever you want to do. But if you land on the rail and you're just... you just got nothing but forward with the cue ball, man, things become funny. Kind of like one pocket we talk about, hard to do damage when you're laying your opponent's cue ball on the rail all the time. Hard to do damage with just top English. Now he got a little thin and he's going to ask for the cue ball to get clean, but is he going to go with follow here and wrap the cue ball around 3 rails or draw to the bottom rail?
I thought it was 3 rails around because it was laying good for that, but he sometimes chooses the shot that has a little more pace going through it. Let me take a look at the angle, see.
I think either's okay. Actually, I kind of like the draw, I think, really, be honest with you, just because the 9's out in the middle a little much. If the 9 was a hair closer to the pocket, even just 3 inches, I think it's okay to go forward.
Yeah, he did some good things there. That whole rack, that was not an easy rack to negotiate, and he made it look pretty effortless, so that's quality pool right there. Well, he's playing 923. It's an interesting thing, too. 900 on this table, you're doing something.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Now, the first year we had the 10-footer here, there was 1 900 match in that. And then it was 2 matches, and then it was 3 matches. Last year, was it year 7? Yeah, 6 900s, okay? And just suppose that Josh could carry on and play a 900, because he's possible from here. It would be 3 out of 4 matches 900 today.
Yeah.
Wow. There's only 15 total matches in the tournament as we get a good look here at the TPAs. Like to be productive here on the break.
Yeah, hit those more square. Now, we'll see if it's going to pay off or not. He's going to get the 1 down. What's the cue ball doing? The 2's going to go as well. It may work out, actually. Not an offensive shot, but the 3's down here somewhat near the cue ball.
Good look at the Cyclop cue ball there.
Or maybe the 3 went down as well.
I can't tell. Get a snookered
Oh,
here.
yeah, he's shooting at the 4, so the 4 plays in the side. So I was paying attention to the 1 and the 2. I guess he made the 3 on the break also. And that's what I mean as far as now. There he was in the pocket, but just that extra distance on those side pocket, little bit of cut, you know,
100%.
a little bit funny, moving the cue ball a foot, 2 feet. I think they just become a little more difficult here on the 10-footer.
I truly think for elite players, I think this is the better test. I think this is like a pro golf course as
Sure.
opposed to, you know, I mean,
Absolutely, yeah.
It's not. Well, it's tough to overpower this table. I've never
Yeah.
seen anyone overpower except for Jason Shaw one year. He did bring the 10-footer to its knees, but everybody else, and you got to be pretty mindful. Even though they put up good scores, it was hard work.
Okay, he's okay. Yeah, this is more of like, you know, U.S. Open, like you're talking about golf, like par's a good score. You know, where the 9-footer for these guys, they make a lot of birdies, right?
All right, right.
Okay, I was wondering how he was going to go into those. I thought he had to, and now he's fallen to where if he's drawn it, he's drawn to the short side of the 7. And can he get by the 8? Drawing the ball.
Not just a shot here; it's position play is super important. Oh, might have got a little straight, or does he have a hint of an angle? Yeah, he has a hint. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, he needed that.
Well, and this type of shot here, he can actually, you know, hold there if he wants. But if he wanted to go forward, the key to this shot is don't try to force more angle. You have to go to what it's giving you and spin up like this rather than trying to really put a lot of pressure on the cue ball and kind of force the angle.
A really insightful call there. Not try to overdo it. I can't tell you how many times I've hung it up trying to be cute and get a really easy angle.
Yeah. And that's called just working through the rack a little
Well,
more, right?
and the fear you have is that all the way till it gets to the last 3 or 4 inches, you don't have position. You know, so that's the problem. That's why you
Yeah.
try to cheat it. You know, you're naked there for a long time.
Yeah, there's a lot of trust involved. You have to realize that you're going to get it there, even though you're not, you know, coming off the ball the best angle possible, right?
But as you get older, you get wiser, and you find out if you just don't miss, even if you don't get position, you can still have a chance to protect yourself. It's when you
Sure.
hang up the ball, all of a sudden Filler runs 2 wrecks on you.
Yeah. Option number 2 is what Mark was talking about. It's not always got to be the run out. Okay,
right.
6-3.
Yeah.
So, you know, definitely we've seen plenty of those type scores where the guy trailing comes back and wins. It's a race to 11 here. You can see at the bottom of your screen.
Well, this is my favorite event of the whole tournament. I just love the 10-foot, 10-ball, 16 great players, $1,000 entry fee, single elimination, do or die. Here we go.
Yeah, let's
it's
get
a real
on with
pool
it, right?
tournament. Yeah. Pool's the only sport in the world that uses double elimination tournament. That's a real big-time sport. Wimbledon or NCAA basketball or something. But we get so rarely a chance to play serious pool that you can't come from China and lose once and go home because
Yeah.
there's no money in it, you know. So,
Sure.
so we play, but really to make it a really world-class event, it does need to be this. My idea is it should be $5,000 entry fee, though.
Okay, a little more. And he laid off the last, and he made sure he didn't lay off this one. Now, the table's breaking tough. He did kind of come across it, though, breaking from his right
Yeah.
side, hitting the left side of the 1.
You know, and players have struggled with the break, but Shane Van Boening doesn't struggle with the break.
No.
And he made 3 and 4 balls. He made both balls behind the 1 in both sides pockets simultaneously. The 2 ball tracks around 4 rails. 3 balls are gone. I mean, and he can tell you where to hit it. He can show you where to hit it, but you can't hit it there if you don't practice it 2 hours a day, and no matter what. It's just the timing's not right to do it. And he's just worked at it till he's perfected that break. Nice safety there by Filler, too, by the way. While I was yammering on about Shane Van Boening.
Can he get enough of the 1 to play the 1 down, or does he have to bank the 1 down and go for the bank shot here? Oh, he can get to the right side. I was wondering about that. Okay, he's going to leave a little window. I'm not sure. Yeah, it's cuttable. Definitely get at that, no problem. Now, this is where Josh, you know, he may play a little bit of a different shot here, like coming into the 9. If he feels like it lays natural to do so, he'll probably try to go by the 9 way up to the center of the table. Oh, he overcut it.
And that's why his speed was off a little bit. Maybe I'm wrong. No, the 2 ball was there. Okay, so he was all right. He just missed the shot is all. Could have to give him an unforced error on that.
Okay. Konrad can play short side here if he wants to. It's not necessary, but like here if he wanted to, because the 3's pretty near. But he got kind of thin, so he's going to go away from the 3 a bit. Could even pinch draw like into the 3 here. I think he's close enough to the 2 to catch enough of the 3, but man, where are you knocking it to with the 8 and 4
super
there?
Dangerous,
right?
yeah, super dangerous.
Oh, he held it and went by it.
Great shot.
Nice shot. But you could see as easy as he hit it, it was a lot of angle.
Yep. Yeah, he made it look effortless, but it was not. He had to do a lot, and then you saw it was economy of power, and look at still how far this cue ball traveled, so you know he was hitting it thin.
Yeah, sizing up what will probably be a 5-10 combination to cut this lead to 2 games at 6-4. I believe, anyways. Looks like the 5-10s land. Very playable. Doesn't even have to get down table much for it. He can shoot it from some 4 or 5 feet away if he wants.
Does look like he has to manipulate it just a little bit, though. It's not just dead into the pocket.
Oh, and he put that extra speed, and now it's not playable at all.
But that's because he wasn't playing for the combo. That's what I'm saying. It
Oh,
wasn't
really?
dead on. Yeah, he played for this, I think. Although, it's not great, is it?
Yeah, I think the combo is playable from quite a bit up table. We'll see if he plays on top of the 5 here, which I think, yeah, see, I think it was, one time.
Okay, so it definitely was playable. He definitely overhit it. I was definitely wrong.
Well, he wanted to get better for no reason, I think, and kind of almost got the best of him.
To get the cue ball way out here, where it was at, when he could have stopped it down there and had a better shot.
Yeah, you're exactly right.
Yeah.
Look at that. Well, he got some of the worst double kisses earlier in the match, and now got a sweet one there to cut the lead to 2 games at 6-4.
Couldn't have said that better. 900 for Filler. JUSZCZYSZYN at 838.
And we'll see if Josh, I might go to dead straight on this table, breaking. Okay, he's got the ball down in the side, that being the 4. The 1 is not going to give him a shot, though. So, good chance he'll challenge him from here, maybe, and maybe lay the 4 on the 8 or something, leaving him a long, tough shot on the 1. I don't think he can get, maybe he can get an edge of the 1. I think you got to roll out by the 4 and 8, I think, and challenge him with the 1, because there's not a natural nice angle on the 1 to get to the 3 with the 10 being there, especially from some distance.
So he's pushing out to tangle something up, it looks like. Okay.
Yeah. That's mainly the challenge, you know.
Try to prolong the game just so you don't lose from your push out. That's basically the strategy. If you get yourself back to the table one time, not bad. You might have something more favorable. If you lose from your push out, it had to be a horrible push out.
Okay, pretty perfect speed on both the cue ball and the object ball there. Caught the point. May have given him a small piece or small sliver of the 1. Yeah, it is an ill feeling when you don't get back to the table after rolling out. And,
yeah.
You know, there's been a few situations I've seen to where, I mean, what are you going to do? You got to just roll out to something incredibly tough. You don't want to roll out and get just, you know, locked up safety like that sometimes. So you got to challenge your opponent.
I want to make a point here. That was a great shot by Filler because he played it rail first to tickle the 1 ball thin to get separation, and then it worked out where there's an obstructing ball in there. And what a great return here. Nice exchange.
I think he can kick 2 rails here underneath. Just got to do it smoothly here so he gets to that second rail lightly, and holds the ball.
Look at that.
Yeah.
Whistled at home now. Yeah, the runout's not really on, doesn't appear. Or maybe the 8 goes. You think?
It's
hard
very,
to-
very close. If he can maybe get into that rail and throw the 4 softly, he may be able to let the 8 catch the top part of the pocket. You know, one thing is, can he get the cue ball behind? Oh, he's going for the 310. And this is a good part of the game also where he might see a little more oohs and ahs. Say he lucks this 10 in, 2 rails to the side, you know, or something.
He might be thinking the 3 goes in the side sometimes too.
Well, he's drawing the cue ball back for safe, that's for sure.
No. Yeah, that was safety all the way with a little offensive. So that means the 8 doesn't go in like we were thinking it might.
No. Okay, it should be chopping this 3 to the left, your left side rail, and run the cue ball behind the 5 probably. Is that right? Oh, he played to make it. That was definitely going for it. And
So he was betting the 4-8 will work.
yeah, but I don't think. Could he
Yeah, he
get?
did,
Does
yeah.
the cue ball go by the 5 to get by the 4-8 to the 4-8?
No,
I mean,
but he hit it heavy, so that changed the path of the cue ball. He was,
no, I'm saying just period. Not saying from there,
Oh.
but just period. Did it go by the 5? I guess
Yeah.
it did, huh? For him to have played that shot.
Look at this shot right here. Yeah,
Yeah, well,
that was a nice job to pocket that ball and dislodge those.
he wants to get off the rail here. It's probably 2 rail position back and forth, just because of the 6 being there. He might go 3. Oh, he went 3 tight. You had to be kind of aware of that 6 ball.
All right.
Yeah, I've only seen Josh shoot, I think, 1 shot right-handed since I've known him. Go with extension or, good player with the bridge, of course. You like just holding here, right? I don't think there's any reason to go down
Yeah.
table for the side pocket. Yeah.
He overcooked it a little bit. It's okay on a 9-footer, but this is a 10-footer, so now it's that extra foot comes into play. Okay. 7-4 is our score. Pretty nice rack there by Filler. Neat safety exchange in the middle of all that.
And Konrad, of course, has got to improve on the break. Now down 7-4, nearing a little over the halfway point in the match. Can't afford to not do some things when he breaks the balls, apply a little pressure to Josh. You can see Josh's wife there, Pia, usually always by his side in the matches. Sometimes, depending on the event, Pia will be out there competing as well. Okay, we'll see if he goes ahead and again, like he did last time, put a little more into the rack. Yeah. I think that's definitely,
Okay. Made a ball.
yeah, he's in great position
Good
on the
shot.
1. Yeah, the 2 that down on the lower left-hand side of the table, and the 4 very near with the 3 getting pocketed. So no reason not to run out here and cut it back to 2 games, Mark. Now, have you changed to the carbon fiber at all for yourself? No.
but
Okay.
You know me, old school, and then they're not the right length for me either. I play 61-inch cue, so.
Yeah, there's some of them that are actually, there's so many. There are some that will build you some longer ones, but I'm kind of the same way as far as I was telling my wife the other day. I feel like I'm kind of stubborn when it comes to the new technology, and that's kind of probably being foolish. Now I did go to my first carbon fiber brake cue, and I love it. So I don't know if I'll be changing to a plain shaft like that, but okay, is that any good there? I don't mind the bank if you had to play the bank, but the angle is what it's all about, and I don't think he can get position here.
He either misjudged it or hit it too full because and it looks like he's right in that in-between zone here.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
If I play this bank, I sometimes rather play it 2 rails cross-side.
He's cutting it.
Oh, he's playing safe, yeah.
Okay, pretty good position.
Yeah. Good job with that, because you made a bad shot. Don't compound it with another bad shot. Don't just give the match away here.
Yeah, I think Josh has just got to put it on the side rail here, this ball, and kind of float the cue ball up. I think if you leave him on a bank, he can't get position on that 6 again. Oh, he's running it further. He was trying to catch that ball to slow the cue ball down. Did great with the object ball.
Wow. That's a tremendous shot.
Yeah, to control the pace, because you're cutting the ball a lot. You know, it's not like you're hitting it right in the face and banking it 2 rails down. You're cutting it a lot, which means the pace is very difficult to command.
Good shot. Good return. Yet another second good safety exchange going on in this game, the last 2 games.
You may go for this bank. May go long rail at this one. Maybe sending the cue ball into the 8, and that's another reason why the call shot is a little different. Oh, nice touch with the cue ball. Look at him just kind of creep it over there.
Yeah, this plays tough.
And this is another one, just cutting this in the side, how much different this type of shot looks on a 10-footer than it does the 9-footer. Way different to me. He's may get fortunate here. That's what I thought, the snooker right there. Probably 1 rail, right, Mark? A lot of good things can happen.
Yeah, if he can hit it this way, if he can get past the 8, okay.
Yeah, and 1 rail, I mean, you know, he's got to hit it thin to scratch here. He could bank this up and lay the cue ball on the back rail, leaving a tough shot very easily.
Oh, that was
he may have snookered him
hit
on that ball.
Yeah. I think he's left the shot. Just looking from my vantage point.
Does the 7 pass the 8? Very close. I think he can get down on the short side of the 7, though. Oh, he's overhit this. This has got to slow down here. Kind of a little bit quick with the motion. A little short and quick, and it got away from him.
I think the reason for the pace was that he needed the inside spin to carry all the way to the end rail, and it was a long way down there. And then he got away from him, and I do agree. It was a little bit of a quick transition from backswing to foreswing. It seemed a little jumpy. But.
So a tough one, elevated over the 8. Yeah, so that side pocket has gotten Konrad twice here in game number 12, and really a pivotal game. Could be 8-4 filler and breaking, right?
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, it's kind of like one of those junctures where you just feel like the match is really slipping away if you don't win this rack.
Well, especially equal opportunity on the break. You know, Josh is just one of those elite players in the world that odds are saying he's going to take advantage of any opportunity. So you have to overcome 4 games late in a match. And this is some good maturity here, I think.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, nice, conservative, controlled, ease it on in there.
No reason to flirt with anything bad happening.
Nice use of inside spin there. He really made a lot out of that angle. That's what happens when you're close to the 9. You can manipulate it pretty easily.
Yeah, it's just like any time you're close to something, it's a little more preference on what you feel like you can do or what you want to do. And pull whenever you start to get a little further away from the shots. There's more of a standard way of doing things. Or, you know, certain ways you need to be able to do things that, you know, long distance kind of requires you to do. So, but when you're close to them, that's when it really does come down to, hey, if you like to draw into that position or if you like to stun into that position a little bit, like there he was addressing it with a little English to do what he wanted.
Right.
Your accuracy goes so far up.
Right.
Really, you can't really complain about any decision these guys make when they're close to the ball.
8 ball, no.
Okay, so dry guy here, and
yeah,
he's got a tough out. You can see the the 5 and the 8, which is going to be difficult combination most likely. Good starter on the 1 though.
The 2's right next to the 1. 3's near a corner. So first 3 balls looks okay.
And then the 4's near the 3. You can see though, there's not really any breakout angle or short side position really for the 5. That doesn't go by the 9 either. So and the problem is that big 6 right in the middle of the table kind of makes it a little tricky to get kind of the comfortable position on that combination.
It's like a small green in golf, but it's defended by some traps. So
Yeah.
try to stick it in there, and it's pretty dangerous.
Yeah, like who put that there?
You know, the other thing, when there's object ball in the middle of the table, so many of our position plays are to the middle of the table or through the middle of the table. So it's just like, it somehow is always a problem.
Yeah, and like here, he got to where he's a little behind it naturally. I don't know if he can easily get to the bottom rail. I think he can. And if he eases it, he may just fall in that perfect position. Oh, he's going for the breakout. Is he going to get there? I don't think so.
Great effort, though.
Yeah, nice
Yeah,
shot.
great effort, great decision. He tried to get that angle to attack it.
Yeah, and really thinking about it after he shot it, I like the decision myself. I think it was laying there, and you know, it was kind of funny to play for the combination.
Yep. Can he play on the 9 here? It's just I don't think he can billiard it easy, which means he'd have to play the combination, then back cut the 9. So that's
Yeah, and then the cue ball doesn't agree with the shot where the 5's going. So I think this little 2-way right here. Problem with the 2-way with the guys these days, of course, you leave them a little air. Now they're going to jump that ball in on you a lot.
Yeah.
It's just amazing how good they are with the jump cues.
Well, we don't allow jump cues.
Oh,
in
yeah,
this
you're right.
tournament,
My
so.
first day back at the Derby, so it's,
Yeah.
excuse me.
So it's kind
it's
of
day 1, so,
right.
so I got to
But
get
it
everything.
is, yeah, me too, because I wasn't sure if that's how we did it. So
Yeah, that's exactly how they play it, and it's one of the rules I really like about the Derby.
me too.
Okay, he's trying to bank this up and spin down to the end rail like this, and see if this just gets past the side. At least maybe he's got to make a tough combination, or at least a long shot.
He's definitely got the long shot.
Oh, great effort there.
Beautiful. Pretty to watch.
Okay, pretty routine. The 9's over the side pocket, so just want to, you know, didn't want to get anything extreme here. Not too straight in, and not too much angle. That way he can come to the bottom rail here if he wants, or draw over if he wants, which kind of, again, his choice.
How's the speed here,
I was going to
Jeremy?
say, this line looked awful when he came off the cue ball. I'll tell you that. I mean, off the 9 ball, excuse me. Didn't have really any right English. He should have dove about the middle diamond into that side rail.
If it doesn't hit the point, the thing goes on. I mean,
Yeah,
the
you get on
speed was
top of the 10 or something.
quite a bit
right?
off. Okay. Well, he recovered there. 8-5 is our score. We've got some of the greatest fans that tune into this, I got to tell you. And, here's a question geared towards Jeremy, new Moscone Cup captain. Do you intend to wire up your players? And this comes from Jose Altuve.
Easy now. I think that was a jab, knowing I'm a big Astros fan. So in about, which I'd heard, of course, when it first came out with fires, I think it was in November.
Yeah.
I was wondering about how this is going to come up, right? But it really hit, the story really hit the same week the Texans blew a 24-0 lead in the playoffs to Kansas City. So I had some friends back home giving me some heck about that week with the Astros and everything else. And, I know you're a baseball guy, and, I'm a baseball guy. But one thing I've asked many is, And I haven't heard this on a radio station, on news, nothing, right? I asked a buddy of mine that works at a radio station back home, but, you know, in 2018, Cora and the Red Sox had to play Hinch and the Astros in the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
So I'd like to know what that text
Yeah.
message was between those two coaches. All right, is it anything goes? Are we stealing signs this weekend or this series, or what are we doing, you know?
Yeah.
And I haven't heard any of the sportscasters or any of them bring that up, that they had to play each other.
Nor have I.
Yeah. And it's a curious thing to me, and that's a really unfortunate timing there after a pretty solid break shot for Konrad.
But once again, speed control cost him. Solid impact on the object ball.
Gonna get a couple kisses and give up a long distance shot on the two. So anyways, your question, I think that was about it, right?
I was just joking.
All right, here goes the 10 ball. So maybe a two-way if the 2 plays by the 4. I think it almost lays, maybe makes the 10 off the 9. Maybe the 10 goes straight in. We'll see. And he got position on the 4, so he's okay. Or no, the 3's in the upper right, excuse me. So
this will be
the
a pretty
monitor
shot.
fooled me right there,
Yeah.
Mark.
This will be a pretty shot right here.
And this is where he doesn't overhit the ball, though. You see that?
Good call.
Yeah, see
Good
how
call.
effective he is with that.
Yeah.
With that, you know. And that's a lot of trusting what's going to happen. You know, a lot of players in lower levels just don't realize that's possible from that distance to hit the ball clean and to keep the draw on it and all that.
That's where it requires effective spin, so you have to be a good enough cueman to hit it that low, the max spin, minimum speed type of thing.
So he's definitely going to contact a piece of the 8, I believe, right?
Or this,
Is he going to go by the 8? I don't know. It's close. Mildly, he could probably go by the 8, but if he adds speed here,
right. Then it throws it off on the tangent line longer.
he's going to play for it, I think. Oh, he went by it. Okay. The jacked up shot on the 7 down the rail. Not easy.
He tried to body language that away a couple inches from the rail and got some.
Well, yeah, and I think during that last shot, the way he wanted to shoot it, he just wasn't sure if it was going to catch that little sliver of the 8 or if it was going to go on by. So good emphasis on making the ball, you know. Sometimes you don't know, and you can really, like, lose focus on the main task at hand. Does he have to play short side here, Mark?
I think he is playing 2 cushions. He played the angle to get there pretty nicely. Would like it to leave the second cushion just a little bit. A little funny there, but
Yeah, if he's going towards the 9 here, I mean towards the 10, excuse me. This is the type to where when you have to hit a piece of it, could hit it a little thick and end up on top. All right, nice shot.
really well played. He elevated the cue just to get that type of a nudge, so he got a little more impact, so he didn't thin it.
Yeah, kind of slow it down enough, but still, you know, stun with a hair of top English to come off the top of the 9.
You know, even Josh Filler is becoming a fan favorite because of his pace of play and his uncanny accuracy.
Well,
He's just fun to watch. You know,
Sure.
It's a very engaging type style of pool.
And pool's one of those games, you know, pretty much everyone starts off bad, right? I mean, it's like golf. I mean, it's just, there's a little bit more ability, I guess, between others, you know, between one person and the next. But I think a lot of the fans here at the Derby, and a lot of them are play themselves and really understand what it takes to get to this level. No matter what the talent level is. I mean, a lot of hard work here.
Right. We have virtually no fans that are not engaged in pool.
Sure.
We don't have just like, oh, we want to see the pool tournament. No, they're players and recognize what the challenge is.
And I don't know if they come here this year, every year. I met some people on the flight that were talking about the tournament that weren't pool players, didn't know any of the players or anything, but they come to this area a lot and
so cool.
Have been before, and they planned on coming again. I thought that was pretty neat.
Nice shot. Yeah, I agree. And, you know, this is another interesting thing. That section right over there, as the week goes on, there's a group from right down here in Elizabeth, just 7 miles away. Mm-hmm. They fill that thing up, and they're not really, I mean, maybe league players at best, but, I mean, they just rock, you know, and love to come every year. It's such a cool thing. I always try to make an effort to just go and talk to them, just because they are that casual people that we often don't get. we rarely get. Nice job there.
Yeah.
Once again, effective draw. Did not hit it hard, but yet got quite a bit of carry on the cue ball to back up 3 feet.
Yeah, and his tip is always so precise that he can hold the ball on a little angle so much better than a lot of players. One thing I talk about Shane is, of course, a different technique a little bit than most. He'll tell you himself, but his tip, he rarely ever doesn't have his tip where he wants it when he's striking the ball. So you can have a little bit of a flaw somewhere else if your tip is always hitting the position you want, And I say flaw, that's a bad way to say it. I'm saying you could be off on a shot. I wouldn't say flaw. Those guys are arguably the 2 best players in the world, Shane and Josh Filler, right?
With Shane's form, he always brings that tip all the way back, and then sometimes he kind of decelerates into it. There's not many guys that play well that way. There are a few.
Well, he doesn't really go through the cue ball. So he's much of a hitter of the cue ball.
Right, you'll see.
And so he has to play shots differently, right? So,
follow through, will be 2 inches.
Sometimes none. I mean, really, like literally none. That's
almost a poke.
That's why you'll never see Shane play a drag shot from some distance, because a drag shot requires you to go through the ball to control when the ball turns over a little bit more, right?
Yeah.
So like the opening shot we saw from Filler in this match when he drugged the 1 ball in.
Right.
Shane will just dead roll it and trust his talent rolling the ball, because his form doesn't really offer much of that drag shot kind of.
Yeah, it's the most interesting thing to me, but it proves you don't have to have textbook or orthodox technique, but what you have to have is repeating technique.
Sure.
Whatever it is.
Absolutely.
Bustamante, he doesn't even get near the cue ball, then all of a sudden, boom, right to the precise spot on the cue ball.
Yeah, absolutely. But, Bustamante, though, what he does before is a little bit different, right? But at impact and through impact, he's very, very good. Very, very fundamentally sound, right? But
certainly if you talk about the top 5 players in the world for the last 20 years, you better have his name in there or you're wrong.
Sure. Okay, so a dry break now at 10-5, and a shot on the 1 and the 2 over the corner. And that's another rule I would change about the 10 ball. I think if you let the best players in the world have any object balls repeatedly racked in a certain place, they're going to find a way to play position on them or make position easier, like the 2 in the back playing 9 ball. I like just the 1 money ball in the middle and random. I think that's a good way to play it. But neither here nor there, really too much. Not that big a deal. Now, does he draw in between into the 9, or does he just punch 1 rail out? Probably just 1 rail out. Yeah, nice shot. So I'm sure they went straight down the board as far as the draw and the matches, right? So who do we have Filler if he continues to get out here? Who do we have him playing next?
He would play Levan Corteza next.
Okay. So Corteza, he had another Filipino player in the first match. He was playing, I believe, right?
Yeah, he played Aranas. James Aranas.
That's right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Corteza, super consistent. Maybe only 2 unforced errors throughout the match, and Aranas had 6 or 7. And that was the difference. Too much consistency.
Now, was it 4 years ago or 5 years ago? Didn't Corteza win this tournament?
No, second was it, but he's been top 4 every year except for last year.
Well, that's what I was going to say. I know I watched 1 or 2 years where he just played exceptional.
He's just so steady
on this 10-footer.
Yep.
So.
I'm no longer surprised when he wins. I just you might think the other guy's name is bigger, but Corteza's winning. So at the end of the day, and he doesn't do it in flashy style. It's not, but he's just steady as could be.
No, he's a great guy too. Fun character.
3 balls away from the match. And I just want to give you a heads up here. Tomorrow morning, or 1 p.m. tomorrow afternoon, it's Melling and Mora, followed by Sky, Woodward, Jason Shaw. Then we got, my goodness, Immonen and Bustamante. And the last match tomorrow night at 9 p.m. will be Corey Deuel, Dennis Orcolo.
There you go.
Match ball here. Filler, quality performance there. Is that over 900? I'm sure it is.
Right at it. I think it is over it a little bit.
Let's see, 929.
Yeah,
oh, wow.
Okay.
That's a good one. So that's 3 out of 4 matches at 900. It's never been the case before. Well, great job, Jeremy.
Oh, no, I
As
enjoyed it,
always.
Mark. Yeah.
This has been Accu-Stats Video Productions, the worldwide leader in billiards programming. Thank you for joining us. Please drive safe, and so long for just a while.